Sometimes healing doesn't feel like relief. Sometimes healing feels like grief. Because you're not just letting go of pain, you are letting go of the person you had to become in order to survive it. And that person, as exhausted as they were, kept you alive. So when healing arrives, it can feel like loss. And not because you're going backward, beloved, but because you are finally thawing. Our official alignment anchor: yellow light. Pause. Breathe. Right where I am, God is. And so I ask, what's the most aligned next step? Not the most impressive one. And I move one faithful step at a time. Here is today's consequence. If you expect healing to feel only happy, you will interpret grief as failure, and you will abandon the very process that is making you whole. You'll say, I thought I was past this, or why am I crying now? Maybe you'll say, I might be getting worse. But healing often includes a sacred sadness, because you are finally acknowledging what you endured, what you lost, what you didn't get, and what you had to carry alone. Grief is not the opposite of healing. Grief is often the doorway. In this conversation, there are two familiar characters. Character A is the fix-it-faster. The fix-it-faster wants healing to be clean, quick, and impressive. They want a before and after story with no messy middle. The fix-it-faster looks like feeling shame when tears return, calling grief dramatic or weak, rushing to reframe before feeling what's true, using productivity, spirituality, or even humor to avoid sadness, saying I'm fine because fine feels safer than being tender. Character B is the tender witness. The tender witness knows healing is not a performance, it is an unfolding. The tender witness looks like letting sadness have its rightful place without panic, naming the loss without drowning in it, allowing the body to release what it has stored, letting God hold the ache, not rushing it away, and choosing the next faithful step, even while grieving. And listen, beloved, the fix-it-faster isn't bad. They're scared because grief feels like losing control. But grief is not chaos. Grief is truth. Here is how we avoid healing grief while calling it strength. It can look like saying, I'm over it, when your body says otherwise. Staying busy so you don't have to feel. Jumping straight to gratitude to bypass sadness. Telling yourself others had it worse to invalidate your own pain. Minimizing what happened because naming it feels too heavy. Spiraling into self-improvement instead of self-compassion. And praying for peace while refusing to acknowledge the loss. And here is our yellow light check-in. Am I honoring grief, or am I bypassing truth? Here is the truth that steadies everything. Healing means you become safe enough to feel. Your tears are not evidence that God left you. Your tears are often evidence that God is near. Because numbness can't heal, distraction can't heal, and avoidance can't heal. But presence can. And if God is love, then love can hold sorrow without collapsing. Because you see, the green light is not, I feel happy. Green light is, I am honest. And the red light is not grief. The red light is self-attack for having grief. And yellow is our holy hinge. Because yellow is where you pause long enough to let the ache be seen without turning it into a verdict about your progress. I know what it is to feel grief in the middle of healing, to finally stop bracing and then feel waves come up that I didn't even know were still inside of me. And I used to think, why now? But the answer is simple, because now I am safe enough. The body releases when it trusts the environment. And the soul speaks when it believes it can be met with compassion, not correction. Healing is like thawing. When something has been frozen for a long time, it doesn't melt quickly. It drips, it cracks, it softens, it releases. And that release can look messy, but it's not damage, it's return. And yellow light is when you don't mistake the thaw for a breakdown. You recognize it as life coming back. Here is our pivot protocol to pause, assess, and decide. And here's how we can practice this today. Our first step is to pause. When grief rises, take one breath and say, yellow light. Our second step is to assess. Ask 3 questions. What loss is asking to be acknowledged right now? What am I making this mean about me? What would love do with this feeling instead of fear? And if you want the alignment chain, use this. Premise, what am I believing? Vision, what do I really want? Purpose, why does it matter? And strategy, what is the next faithful step? Because grief avoidance often runs on a premise like, if I feel this, I will fall apart. And beloved, feeling is not falling apart. Feeling is actually coming back together. Our third step is to decide. Make one aligned decision, not 10, just one. Here are 3 options. Name the loss in one sentence. What I didn't get still matters. Let the body release, breathe, cry, soften your jaw, drop your shoulders. Take one gentle next step. Water, sunlight, a walk, a message to a safe person. And remember, this is not the most dramatic step, and it is not the most impressive step. It is the next faithful step. So here is your charge for today. Stop treating grief as a problem. Grief is often the proof that healing is happening. And our yellow light is to pause, assess, and decide. And today, practice this sentence. This grief is not failure. This grief is release. If you like to journal, use the following prompt. What am I grieving as I heal? And what would it look like to meet myself with tenderness? If something in today's conversation stirred you, don't rush past that. That stirring is often the soul's way of saying, pay attention. This is your yellow light. And you don't have to navigate this alone. If you are craving clarity, if you are ready to live with purpose and you want aligned action that holds up in real life, I'd love to support you. You can reach out to learn more about Life Charter or what it looks like to work with me, Babs. Just send me a message with the word yellow and tell me where you feel stuck, numb, or unsure. I will respond with the next best step and the simplest way we can walk it together. Until tomorrow, yellow light. Pause, breathe. Right where I am, God is. What's the most aligned next step? Not the most impressive one. And I move, one faithful step at a time. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. I love you deeply, for in truth, we are old friends because we are one.